Well, welcome to Social Club, back again because it's Monday. A big weekend of Premier League action, and to discuss a few of the major talking points, I have got Ped from Toffee TV and Statman Dave with me today. We read your comments last week and we've taken note that you don't like Steve Housen, so we've got rid of him and we brought his mate in. Man United look dire, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, they weren't great, were they? I thought nothing went well. You know, they didn't have enough ball, they didn't play well when they had the ball, they defended poorly, there were so many mistakes. Like, you go back and you break all the goals down, it's not like one guy that makes a mistake, it's literally like 3 or 4 players that you're like, he should be here, that guy should be here, United could be playing a back three and maybe you don't concede that goal. And I think that's the most frustrating part about it, is that nobody sort of stepped up. You didn't see anything that Mourinho did that well from the touchline, you don't think Pogba sort of stepped up as the captain, they defended poorly, like, there's really no positives. And that's a bad thing, second game of the season, when the first game you sort of think, United, they're getting past a tough team. Leicester are going to be good this season, let's not get around that. But it wasn't a convincing win. But if they'd won the next game 4-0, 3-0, you're thinking, the season's going 6 out of 6 points, sorted. But now with that, it's like we've still got that same problem that we can't beat teams that have just been promoted or are going to be in and around the relegation zone.
It doesn't look good for Manchester United fans right now, does it?
The general atmosphere around Man United is really bad, isn't it? And I look at the other teams up the top, you know, Man City, Liverpool and even Chelsea. I just think they've got a settled camp. The fans are all on board and everyone just seems happy to a point. With Man United, I just look at the moment, that's a really unhappy camp, and I think that only means one thing. Normally, under Mourinho, once that camp comes unsettled, it means that he will at some point implode and he will lose his job. Because what I don't understand about it is that Man United haven't bought that many players. There should be a continuity to their play, and there isn't a continuity. Yeah, if you brought in 3 or 4 new players and they were all playing and they were all trying to find their feet, then you go, fine, that's fair enough. But that's worrying that there's definitely something really affecting the camp.
A lot of people were talking last season, Dave, about how, you know, he needed to let players off the leash. Now, you go into that game against Brighton, and for me, it looked like 3 midfielders who wanted to do a lot of attacking. But that game was crying out for Nemanja Matic.
I think that's kind of the problem, obviously, Matic injured, that's a big issue. Like, the components of this midfield with Fred, with Pereira, with Pogba, you're like, that has got a lot of good components in there, but at the moment, it's not quite finding that correct balance.
You say that, but Man United didn't really create anything either.
That's the problem. There's no... What seems to be the problem, again, like, you bring someone like Martial in after the fallout, or whatever we want to call it, if that, you know, that's what we want to phrase it. Like, it seems like with Sanchez being injured, going to Martial instead of going for maybe a Rashford could be a fitness thing, but at the same time, it didn't quite work for me. You know, Martial is a player that's massively got under the radar and deserving criticism for this game. Like, he was atrocious. He didn't do anything. For a creative player that you pin all your hopes on that's supposed to be this guy, and then he turns up against Brighton, literally just one thing. I remember him cutting in once on his right foot and shooting, that was it. In the whole game. And
that's it. Like, for me, the only chance of note other than the penalty was the Lukaku one that he scores. Other than that, there was nothing really that was created, nothing from inside the area. It's not a side that are working the ball to the byline and cutting it back. You're not seeing a cohesive unit attacking or defending at the moment.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think with Mourinho, you're always going to get that defensive side. It's going to be good. But going forward was the thing that Mourinho needed to fix. And again, I see things that are starting to look like a possession-based model. Like the centre-half splitting, like Pereira dropping, Fred dropping. You can see what they're trying. But then the problem with that is now, the third goal United conceded, they got pressed high, they tried to play the ball out to alleviate the press, Fred loses at midfield, they score. That setup, Mourinho's going to look at that and be like, we can't do that anymore. And that's what you need to do. You know, as a Liverpool fan or as you're watching Manchester City, split your centre-halves, you play out from the back, your DM drops, you try and go. I think the issue there was David De Gea chipped it centrally, potentially should have chipped it wide into a less dangerous zone. But again, these are like little nuances that I'm saying now that with the bigger picture, with the result, doesn't mean anything.
Ped, are Manchester United an average club playing in a big stadium?
I'm certainly playing in a big stadium.
Interesting you asked that to Ped.
Or an average team. Sorry.
I think they're an average team with good players, if that makes sense. Yeah. There's no sense of team in there at all, is there? There's no sense of a style. And I think that's their biggest problem. I just don't think the players enjoy playing whatever they're playing. How can they be? It's not attractive. It's not good football. There's a power struggle at the top, then that power struggle filters into the players, and then it's very uncomfortable. I would imagine if I was a Man United fan because you're not going anywhere. You're not going in the direction you should be. Nobody sum up Man United in positive terms. It's all negativity, and it never used to be like that. Even when Man United were in bad times, someone at the club was saying the right things or taking responsibility. No one's going to take responsibility at Man United for Mourinho's failings because they don't like him.
But there is one person, that does need to probably take a little bit of responsibility, and that's Ed Woodward, surely. I mean, this guy has now brought in David Moyes, he's brought in Van Gaal, and he's brought in Jose Mourinho.
Again, he's got a lot of responsibility. Maybe football-wise, it should have been broken down at that point. Whereas he's doing commercial deals and he's doing the footballing side of it. It's probably too much responsibility for anyone, right?
In the last 5 years, Manchester United, for the first time, have been a step behind every other club.
But again, that all comes down to Ferguson being, everywhere and controlling everything from the inside and doing such a good job that you think that you can get another Ferguson. And maybe that's the problem, that there is never going to be another Ferguson.
Listen, it's 2 games into the season. Yeah. Manchester United can absolutely turn this around because of what you said before, because they have got quality players, and most of the time those quality players will win out, even with a poor system and a poor philosophy. Let's move it on then. Probably the game of the weekend was Arsenal-Chelsea for the neutral. I thought both teams, defended terribly.
Yeah.
Chances to be had all over the place. Could have been 5-all, Ped. Will teams look at that game and go, we can get at these teams and we can get points from them?
I think a couple of teams will say we can get at them. For Arsenal, I think it was positive in a way because they got back into the game. Ultimately, they've lost the game. But I think their fans will see signs that are there. Their fans just need to be patient. They really do. It's turning a large ship round, I think, Arsenal at the moment.
I want to quiz you a little bit, Dave, on Chelsea's tactics. I think everybody knows they've been used to playing that 3 at the back under Conte, and there was times during the game where you think they're actually much better suited to 3 at the back.
Yeah.
Alonso looks a little bit slow to be playing left back, but equally he gets up the pitch, he scores a goal, he gets an assist during the game at the same time. So you're looking at him thinking, actually he can be a bit of a playmaker from that left back position. Is Sarri doing the right thing in implementing his system from the get-go, or should he have been looking at what Conte did, where he played with the system the players were used to and implemented his system when the time was right?
I think he needed to do it as soon as possible because it's going from that defensive style of football, counter-attacking style of football under Conte to possession-based craziness on the football. Jorginho completing 90 passes a game for fun. And I think it is interesting how the system will all evolve, and they need to basically deal with, like you're saying, the space that Alonso leaves when he attacks, because he's so good going forward that you don't want to take that part out of his game. But also, like you saw Arsenal creating a lot down that right-hand side. You take the Mkhitaryan, we got the assist from down there. He also created that great chance for Iwobi. And pre-game, I was looking at that and thinking, Chelsea defended really narrow against Huddersfield Town. If you switch the ball out to one of the wingers, they're so slow to get out to you, and you can bang it across, and then you're basically turning Jorginho, and there's basically an area where you can do it. Cutbacks will destroy this Chelsea team. So the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Man City are going to eat this team for breakfast. But at the same time, there's a lot going right that they could alleviate these little problems. I think Kante's evolving. I think the likes of Ross Barkley's looking, playing some of the best stuff he's played for a while, with Morata back, Hazard back. It's exciting to see them, but tactically, they need to work it out. What I like with Emery's side is that when you saw Torreira and Guendouzi playing together, they look very good. They look good. They look controlled in that central area.
Still looks green though, Guendouzi, doesn't he?
He looks a wonderful player.
He looks a talented player. But there are mistakes in his game, and you're going to get that with young players.
Yeah, 19 years old,
I'm not having a pop at him here, but I just wonder whether he will be afforded the time to be able to make those errors. I mean, as a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't want to see a 19-year-old making mistakes in centre midfield all the time, but equally I can look down the line in 6 months and go, he could be one of the top midfielders in the league.
You've got to take both of the games he's played, he's won the most tackles, and that's against Man City and Chelsea, and he's made the most interceptions any other player on the pitch. On the flip side of that, you look at his passing range. I didn't think his passing would be that good. You saw some passes that were coming from defensive midfield, splitting lines, straight to the centre forward, that were good passes. And from what I've seen of him, I'm just so impressed by his ability on the ball and off the ball.
More often than not, I think Arsenal, for me anyway, Ped, win that game of football. I think, they create the better opportunities. Aubameyang's skies went over from 5 yards. Mkhitaryan's skies went over from 5 yards. The way in which they were attacking Chelsea was very, very good. And I think Emery should be given credit for that because he's identified the weakness of Chelsea.
I think what would encourage me for Arsenal is that they will grow as a team, but they will be afforded that time because what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? Then they finished 6th last season. There is time for this team to grow. There's no expectation on them. The only expectation is to go up, and I don't see them dropping any below 6th. So there is time to grow, and I think hopefully their fans will be patient. If the manager's got an idea, if you've got a 19-year-old centre midfielder, then that's good. He's got lots of time to grow into that.
Okay, well, we'll move it on then. Let us know your thoughts on that in the comment section below. I want to talk a little bit about the La Liga venture with Relevant Sports. I think this is quite relevant. Ped, they've signed a 15-year deal to broadcast La Liga games from the US. Yeah. Do you think this is good or bad?
I think it's a bad thing for football. I think it might help La Liga. La Liga, what they're trying to do is say, well, we can't beat Premier League in terms of, the games and stuff over there. So let's just take it to them. It's how the Premier League react to that. Will they say, this is the excuse we need to start taking games to America?
First of all, as a fan, let's say hypothetically the Premier League get into discussions. Are you liking the idea of moving games from Old Trafford to somewhere else?
No, personally no. As a fan that goes to the games and he lives in Manchester, I want to watch all the United games at Old Trafford. That's my connection with the club, and that's important to me. That's really important to me. And like changing that, like away days, are fun and really good, and moving that to another continent. Yeah, you're going to get a bigger fan base, and yeah, that's fair enough if you want to expand the game and so forth. But I don't think it's needed. And again, though, are you going to get any people that are going to maybe turn up to maybe a Rayo Vallecano versus a Levante? No. So what's the point?
And here's the thing.
See what I mean?
I went to see Deportivo versus whoever it was when David Villa was playing for Deportivo, and the game was so slow. The pace of the game. It's not like. It's all right when you're watching Barcelona versus Real Madrid, but when you're actually there and you're watching two mid-table teams, the pace of the Spanish league's pathetic, to be honest with you.
I think it depends what team. I agree overall it is, but there's still some good sides in there. But
of course there will
slower.
Be. You've got, but listen, I can see it from both sides. This because as a Liverpool fan, I do not want games moved out from Anfield or away games first and foremost. But as an American football fan, I actually get to go and watch the NFL games in London. Yeah. And I absolutely love that. I've been 4 times as an English fan.
So you're the person, right?
So I am the guy in the middle who's going, there's no way I'm losing Liverpool. But I like to take advantage of when the NFL do stupid stuff like that.
See, the difference is that I think NFL is certainly geared up to it because obviously the franchises, they've moved cities and stuff like that. And also, if there's an NFL game, it doesn't really matter who's playing. You might go and watch that game regardless, might you? And just go and watch it because it's your opportunity. I just wonder if it's...
But then the argument there is, and this is I suppose what you're coming on to, is it's not actually a home game for the team who gives up their home game because every fan of every club just wants to go and see the NFL, which makes a really good atmosphere, almost a carnival atmosphere, but you're losing a freaking home game.
But that's the thing, isn't it? And you just said it there, if it's Betis versus Rayo Vallecano, or general fans of Spanish football or general fans of football are going to go, well, this is an opportunity for me to go and watch a game of football. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they'll be that bothered. I can't really see that. And I think the problem is with the Premier League, I think the owners of the top 6 would all be happy with that because we've seen them already jump in and try and get more overseas money. So they're like, I'm not being funny, but if John Henry comes in and sees this opportunity, I think he's going to take Liverpool to a home game. I don't think he gives a care in the world, mate. And I think the same for the Glazers. I think the Glazers get an opportunity to get Man United playing in Tampa for a home game. I think they're taking it. I don't think it's going to be helped by some people in the Premier League.
No, I don't. I think you're right. And as far as listen, I'm not going to speak on John Henry's behalf, but I would like to hope that what we've shown him as Liverpool fans over the last 2 years would make him think, actually, these guys back us and we're getting a good support. But ultimately, unfortunately, what we're watching now is a commercialization of the sport that we love. And it's already happened for the last 20 years. It's just going to kick into overdrive.
Look at the ICC thing.
Well, it's them who are doing it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a bit sad in itself, the way that they've gone around that.
They've created the opportunity. They've said, you bring the fans. It's Field of Dreams, isn't it? If you build it, they will come. There's a reference for you kids.
I think the last little point on this is the introduction of sports betting in America.
Yeah,
could mean that they have even more money.
It's huge,
and that makes obviously the legislation's changed in the last 12 months. That opens up a new avenue for revenue to pull whoever they want over.
But also,
you've
got to think of all the other little things. Like soon there's going to be like an 8 o'clock kickoff in this country, isn't it, on a Saturday night? So that means that the game could kick off in New York at 3 o'clock. And we get it at 8 o'clock. So it doesn't from a TV point of view, it works. So you got to think of all those little things. All things are changing to help this happen. If it happens, Please don't be the 39th game now.
Oh, that's
Because
that'll be
that's just
absolutely
shocking.
What was the original, right, last thing, what was the plan there? Were you just going to play the nearest person in the league to you?
Exactly.
Because
They
imagine
flip a coin, don't they? Liverpool. Oh, can we do it again?
Make it, if it happens, and I really hope it doesn't, but please make it fair. Make it fair
can't be,
by...
can it?
Well, it can't be fair,
Not if you
but...
had one game. You need to
But
have an extra game
whoever's
against
playing
everybody.
the top team, it's unfair.
Do you know what I do, right? Okay, this is the only...
I know what I do. Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. That has been a fantastic video. Thank you to Ped. Thank you to Statman Dave, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and we'll see you next time on Social Club.